Before she changed the world, Julia Child was just an American living in France.
Shouldn't I find something to do?
What is it that you really like to do?
Eat.
And you're so good at it. Look at you. Now,
They're
how
growing
good
in
you are.
front of you.
Bone Appetite.
What? Man, if you're going to say it right.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe he does have an appetite for bone.
I was going to say.
Only yours.
Yeah. You don't want to come out the box or something like that.
Depends on what box I'm coming out of.
Or on top of.
Going entirely in the wrong
man. Yeah, let's go. Julia Child would be so disappointed by this. Let's do her
I don't
right
know,
now.
man. In this movie, she's kind of a sex crazed, she's got.
Boy.
She likes sex as much as she likes food, which is gross, by the way.
Well, let me tell you something. If this is the movie this is the movie for the guy whoever fantasized about Julia Child being a freak, because that's what I liked about the movie.
Well, you went to high school with her, so what's it like, Leon?
He taught her in high school.
She was quite frigid, I must say.
Yeah, you caught her too early, man. Before she loosened up.
She's not a pretty woman. The real Julia Child wasn't, and Meryl Streep playing her nails it, right?
Well, one thing she is big.
She's big.
She's a
intimidatingly
giantess.
big.
I love how they use Hagrid technology in this movie to make her huge.
Yeah, it is actually said that they use CG to make Meryl Streep bigger and taller so that she could represent the real Julia Child.
Yeah, she's just a big woman. They bring in, who plays her sister?
Never remember that woman's name.
She's the one from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, no, that actress's name is Jane Lynch.
She's already big, and they made her even bigger. They're both broad twins.
Oh yeah, but no,
they did a great job of it, though. Like all the matching, making it seamless, and just giving them weight. Like when they step, you can hear the floorboards.
If you couldn't tell by now, this movie it's actually based on Julia Child, but it's based on another person who, like Julia Child, wrote memoirs and they became popular. A woman named Julie Powell, who I never heard of until this movie. But so this is a kind of a unique film. It is a memoir of two people intertwined with each other. It's based on two books which never had anything really to do with each other. In fact, I don't even think these two authors met each other at one time. And in the film, you get a hint that Julia Child might not have liked this other person.
Ooh, spoiler.
I said hinted at. I didn't. You don't.
And then you spoiled it.
Oh, bullshit.
No.
Bullshit. That's what the whole crust of the film is, and you're going to just come out with that.
Hey, so is that the ending?
Dun, dun, dun. No, it's not the ending. No, it's not the ending at all.
What is the ending, Leon?
Don't tempt him. He's about to explode right now.
I got nothing to say.
The souffle crashes.
I got nothing to say that Corey hasn't already said.
The upside down cake is right side up. Julia Child. Everyone knows Julia Child. She wrote this book, My Life in France. And how I ate it up or something.
How I ate France, yes.
It's French cooking for Americans or something. The joy of the art of French cooking.
The art of eating French people or something.
Yeah.
So,
and then like 80,000 books after that.
No, actually, this book it is called My Life in France, and it's about her. Like you said, it's a French cookbook for Americans because she enjoyed French food so much, but all of it was written in French.
Well, yeah, they didn't want Americans getting all their secrets. So, and they killed her like Bruce Lee.
They will not appreciate our fine cuisine.
When she was in her 90s.
Now, this is a Nora Ephron movie, and she gave us, of course, Sleepless in Seattle. You've got Mel, Michael, and Bewitched, which I completely hated. And now we have Julie and Julia, which I consider to be up there with some of her best films. This movie actually follows the path of Julia Child as she tries to get this cookbook together. And, of course, she gets turned down by many publishers for many different reasons. So we follow that. Now, the other half of the movie, which is, as I said, is sporadically intertwined with this other plot, is Julie Powell, who becomes... She's a woman who's never finished anything. Yeah. And so she says, you know what, I'm going to sit down and actually try to finish a project, a year-long project.
I got a project I'd like her to
finish. Yeah, because the girl who plays this is, what's her name?
Amy Adams.
She takes on a year-long project, which is 365 days of recipes, a different recipe for every day.
More than one recipe every day, because there's 500 some recipes in the book.
Well, okay, so 365 days of cooking some shit, okay? And all of it is based on Julia Child's cooking. She's actually trying to mimic these recipes that she has done. So she does this in a blog. Now, this is at the time when blogging was actually something fairly new.
2002.
And she does this for Salon.com, and her blog becomes one of the most popular things on Salon.com. And this movie is pretty much the story of her success with her blog, which leads her to being a writer and stop working at this nonprofit or whatever job she hates being at. You know what? I describe this movie as the perfect Sunday afternoon film. It's a sweet film. It's probably not tremendously memorable, the film itself, but it is something that you will sit down and enjoy and walk out of it feeling really happy. I would just say, do not
Spoiler.
go into this movie hungry because
Jesus.
because
It's food porn.
Yeah, man, it is. This shit is like watching a horror movie if you are hungry, because it's kind of like, I don't want to see the next scene where they cook it. I can't take it.
I gotta say, because we had to watch this movie in 2 stages because they totally fucked up the first time, and I saw it on a full stomach one of those 2 times, and both times I was starving in the middle of that movie.
Well, I saw it that first night. If you remember,
Yeah, I do remember you hadn't eaten dinner.
I was sitting up there. It was like watching a movie where watching a film where people get tortured and you're writhing around in your seat like, oh, I can't take it. And that was me. I was in my seat just like, oh.
It looks so good.
Oh my God, it's fucking tiramisu. That's not fair.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody showing a porno movie in a prison.
Yeah.
Except
Something like
that you can't whip out your stomach and take care of it right then and there.
Or actually, you could just have sex with the food if you want. But no, let me just say this, man. I think it's a safe bet to say at this point, Meryl Streep, who is fantastic in the film as Julia Child, she's going to get nominated for
She's
an Oscar.
so good in the role that, like, you know, even having shortly before seeing what little of this film I did see, the actual Julia Child, I'm like, wow, you could totally like make the mistake and think Meryl Streep is her.
I'm going to try to flip this thing over now, which is a rather daring thing to do.
She changed everything. Before her, it was frozen food and can openers and marshmallows.
Don't knock
Give it
marshmallows.
a try. When you flip anything, you've just got to have the courage of your convictions, especially if it's a loose sort of mass, like, oh, that didn't go very well. But you see, when I flipped it, I didn't have the
She's so
courage
adorable.
I needed to the way I should have. Oh, but you can always put it together. And you alone in the kitchen, who's to see? But if
Pearls.
you're going to
The woman
learn
is wearing
to
pearls in the
flip it,
kitchen.
You've just got to practice, like the piano. I'm Julia Child. Bon appetit.
She
Yeah.
so totally gets it.
And you know, she actually mimicked Dan Aykroyd, who did Julia Child on Saturday Night Live.
Are you
once.
serious?
Oh yeah.
I know
There's,
that.
there's a scene later where they're watching Dan Aykroyd do Julia Child. and
That's
it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and she actually admitted that I got a lot of influence from that. And you know, she's great in the movie. She's fantastic. As
That
I
being
said,
said, it does need more Julie sex and less Julia sex.
boy, Julia. Okay, let's just say it right now. She, bless the woman's soul, she's dead. But this woman here, she was. You're right. If there's anything she was hungry for more than food, it was penis. I mean, she was
Well,
a
it was
freak.
mostly her husband. He was the one, like, anytime she was doing something, if she bent over, not to pick up something off the floor, just pick up something off the table, he was mounting her.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they didn't have. there's
Wow,
a-
that's it's like my experience doing a couple of cold ones every week.
But no, Stanley Tucci is great in the movie. I love Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci is always Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci is great at being himself. And you're right, man. There's a scene in this movie where it's not exactly a naked love scene, but it is kind of weird. And they don't have any foreplay. That motherfucker just mounts her, and he's gonna kiss her or anything, and then they go to black. And
She's so big. She reminds me of that old Eddie Murphy bit. It's like, you married a Sasquatch, didn't you? You shaved her down and you married her.
and Stanley Tucci is so short that, you know, it's him climbing a mountain.
That was the thing. Every time I thought about him climbing a mountain and having those pickaxes and just scaling her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, the thing what makes Meryl Streep so good in this is not just that she, apes Julia Child so perfectly, but she plays her with so much joy. She's just so happy and so full of life about everything that it's infectious. Like, anytime she's on, it usually makes you smile and you root for her. You just want to see what she's going to do next. And the bad part about this movie is, like, Amy Adams she's a great actress. I like her just fine, but the Julie parts are pretty dull compared to the Julia part. I mean, like, the parts with Julia Child, that was almost enough in itself to be just its own movie without undercutting